This patient broke out of our ward, ran out of the hospital, only to return under his own will. I've never seen anything like that. That patient wasn't even the type to cause any trouble, and I had went on vacation for a couple of weeks, and when I came back, the patient that I saw was not the guy that I knew that frequented our unit. He was violent, he had a different look in his eyes, and something in him definitely snapped. But then something else happened that made him come back to the unit. And I want to talk about that with y'all today. Welcome back to Jay's Psych Ward Stories.
Hey, we are living in a psych ward. I'm quite sure this is psych ward. I'm quite sure.
Man, if it's not one thing I learned about working in the psych ward, it's you never really know what's going on with people. And things could change at the drop of a dime. This particular patient was a very cool guy. He was a young man. You could tell that he had a deep need to get approval and will often be helpful to the nurses, polite to people, but you can also tell that he had a rough traumatic past. He hadn't finished school, he was in foster care for some time, and he was currently living in a group home. Nevertheless, he helped patients. He went out of his way to open doors for people, to bring down people's snacks that weren't able to get up for group, to wake people up for meds. Now, he never did too much. He was an intelligent person. When you talk with him, he had real goals, aspirations. He would pace the unit every day. He seemed to be doing fine. And if he was performing and that really wasn't him, he was putting on one hell of a performance. But then one day something started to change, and that was after he had a meeting with the psychiatrist. Now, the number one question for any patient that I had coming up in the psych ward was, when can I go home? Or when is the doctor gonna be here so I can figure out when I can go home? And one thing that's similar about all the wards I worked in, these psychiatrists really knew how to gaslight patients and make it seem like they were tweaking this and tweaking that and not giving them straight answers. But when they get in the building, it's like their goal is to meet with them with as little time as possible before they get back in their car and do whatever the hell else they went to do. And he had been asking the psychiatrist every day, hey, when can I go home? When can I go home? Taking it to the chin, sharing his goal in group. The psychiatrist said, I might go home tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that. So I'm just going to groups, doing what I can to stay focused, practicing my coping skills. And that would be all good stuff that would be in his chart. And sometimes he would come and ask me, like, did I do good in my chart today? And I'd be letting him know, like, man, you know you did good in your chart today. I got nothing but great stuff to say about you, man. You've been in groups, you've been helping people, but how are you really doing? You know, I get to talk with him, and he would be forthcoming in those situations too, like talking about his past. That's how I found out about like certain situations that he was dealing with, and I got more insight on him that I really appreciated. And he knew what days I worked, so he looked forward to me coming in, but he was cool with multiple staff, so it wasn't like he relied on me for his solace or anything like that. Bro was just an all-around sweet guy, not gonna lie. So once the doctor told him that disappointing news, something switched in him. And before I took my vacation, I didn't see it all the way materialize, but basically he started to get a little short. And when I would come on to work my afternoon shift, I would get reports back that like he was in his room all day, or he had smacked the desk and walked away. Never hurt anybody, never said anything foul, but you could just see frustration, anger, and him trying to deal with it, and he was. So they were just more so worried about checking on the sweet guy versus like, uh-oh, is this a crack in his psyche and his amount of pressure that he can take? So I go on vacation. I come back and I get some very interesting news.
Quite a long face, man. Drowning in your depression again? I mean, yeah, man. I just came from a grippy sock vacation. I am in therapy, but I just can't find a place where people can
understand you.
Yeah, exactly.
You ever thought about joining the Psych Ward Survival Club?
The Psych Survival what now?
The Psych Ward Survival Club is a community for people with different mental health struggles at various points of their journey. They have weekly discussions, video hangout calls. They even share tips and their personal experiences navigating the mental health system.
Huh, that is interesting. I usually don't meet those type of people unless I'm in the psych ward.
Yeah, there's not really that many spaces like this out there. This is why you gotta check this out. The guy running it, Jay Pitts, he has over 7 years of working inside of the psych wards. He put together like this entire video series called the Psych Ward Survival Guide, and he walks folks through all of the ins and outs of the psych ward, their rights, how to navigate the system.
I could have used that time that doctor over-medicated me, but I was too afraid to speak up.
I'm telling you, he covers all of that.
Well, how do you even know about this?
I'm in the club too, fool. And I'm a part of the Psych Worker Survival School. That's another community where if you're interested in working in the psych
field, Jay will teach you his secrets behind being a patient advocate and why his nickname in every single ward he worked in was the patient whisperer. He's passing on those very same skills to the community. You gotta admit, the guy is good. Dang, I wanna work in psych and help people one day too. Now that's dope and all, but first, you need to work on your mental health. Okay, how do I join? Just go to jpitchmusic.com and click which club you wanna join. Like right now? Yeah, like right now. Yo, I'm connected with people already. Welcome to the club, my friend.
So when I get back from vacation, I hear that the sweet guy beat up an elderly patient on the unit. Beat up. I mean, the staff had to pull him off. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, ain't no way he put his hands on anybody. It got so bad to the point where they had to move him off of that unit into the older adult unit that had way less patients, and it was easier to manage that unit with some dedicated staff and to just put him in a new environment. And it's like over there, he clicked the reset button. He was sweet again. It was like he had a fresh start. It was very interesting. The day I came back, I was working on the adult unit, and all of a sudden we get an alarm, a Dr. Strong, which means all hands on deck, come to the unit that needs help, and they do over the intercom, Dr. Strong on this unit, Dr. Strong on this unit. And here I go, taking off, running, and apparently they had took some of the geriatric patients outside, and he was with them, and they were doing some type of construction or something, and the construction guys left the gate open, the gate that was going out into the parking lot and that can ultimately get him to escape the facility. And he just walked right out and just started down the sidewalk. And here's the thing about when patients escape a psych ward: you do not chase them. You don't want to have them stirred up, because if they run and they get harmed, or if they go into oncoming traffic, we are liable for influencing their behavior. So what we do is call our local police, have them go on the hunt, and then bring them back. And so we did do that. And I had a very interesting encounter with the police, which is actually worth another story because it taught me a lot about the area. Actually, I address it in my song, Psych Ward, that is the intro to my videos. I kind of say a line about it or whatever, but basically the police, even though I was dressed in full uniform, mistook me for the patient. Mistook me. I don't like them in that area. And they tried to kind of play me a little bit like, is this the patient? But like I said, if y'all want to hear that story, let me know in the comment section, and I will tell y'all about that encounter, because that taught me a lot about not only the police in that area, but my coworkers and their stance, and I can also tell you my response to it, which I feel like was like a good way to deal with it. But anyways, no, we tell the police, no, actually he is coming back. Wow. So we look and we see him walking back towards the psych hospital, and this time he has a defeated look. He didn't have any shoes on. He has his hands in his pocket. It was pretty chilly outside. He had some loose thin jacket on, and he's walking back and he looks very defeated. So the police are trying to convince him to come inside. He's still a little apprehensive, but it was just a different person we were looking at. So they bring him in, they give him the injection to sedate him / calm him down. He took it like a G. He's just catatonic the whole time, just defeated. And I wanted to let him cool off, but I can tell that my presence there, because he didn't even know whether I was working, he acknowledged me in this interesting way. It was like it was a small window to be able to talk to him, or at least listen to him talk. So I finished doing my rounds on the unit. I kind of let things cool down for a while, and then I came by to check on him to see how he was doing. And lo and behold, he was dealing with trauma from his past. He was just telling me how much his mother doesn't want him, how much he hated his mother, and all of his homelessness is because of her, and how she chose drugs, and how she gave him up. He said even when he ran away from the psych ward, he thought, where am I going? I don't even know where I'm at. I'm far from the group home that I want to go to. I'm out here on the street. It's cold. And literally was like, I need to walk back here. He said, and I hate it here. So he's very aware of his situation, very aware of his circumstance, and it revealed to him some very dark things that put him there. And I was glad to be able to share that moment with him, for him to be able to express that and to bring the truth from the inside of him outward. and to be able to encourage him. But when I'm in situations like that, especially working in the psych ward, there's only so much you can say. What do you say to somebody when you can't heal a situation that is getting at them and they don't necessarily possess the power to see it all the way through? They need like somebody to walk with them and get help, not to be having meds thrown at them as if that's gonna make them adjust and understand the context of their life and then be good from there on. Sometimes moments are just hard, and I can't say, well, just be positive, or you're in the right place, or you have a good heart, or God gives his hardest task to his strongest soldiers. Like all of these things that we say for our comfort in order to make it seem like we did okay for that situation, but it does nothing for individuals. But honestly, what do you do in those situations? You gotta let it be hard. So I asked him, what's your plan, man? How do you see your way through this? Do you want to be in here, coming back over and over? Do you want to be somewhere outside of your group home? What's your plan? And I said, because I know it's hard. I know you've dealt with a lot, and I can't imagine even carrying that if I were you. But I hear you, and I'm here to support you. What do you need? He said, well, I need help getting in a new group home because the one I'm currently in is abusive. They take too much of my money, and people steal my stuff there. That's a common problem amongst many patients that I've talked to. But a lot of people don't know that in the psych ward, you can literally go to the social workers to have those resources that they will legally give to you. And during phone hours, you can call up these places or have a staff member help you call up these places if they're willing. Some psych wards, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I'm not gonna gaslight y'all. They can be horrible, staff can be horrible, don't help you with nothing. That is exactly why I made Jay's Psych Ward Survival Guide, so that you guys can take it with you and have it with you like your psych ward pocket Bible, so that if you're forgetting or you're too within your situation to have the wherewithal to think straight, you can read a guide that lines things out on how you should be making your moves, how you should be lining yourself up, who is there to help you and what job they do, how to take advantage of the system so that you don't get taken advantage by the system. It is a needed resource. And as of recording this video, my physical sample copy is on the way. It was shipped. So I really can't wait to get this into you guys' hands, so that you can take it with you in the psych ward. I know we have our ebook for you guys to get and digest now. You guys have been buying that up, but I really can't wait to get it to you physically. And it just made me think about how many people, again, live a life that feels very isolated. And if they knew that there were other people that had these struggles, and if they could come together and talk about them, then we can destigmatize the conversation. We can compare strategies on what's worked. And if you're in the type of community where somebody is able to lead you in the right directions and protect the positive environment of the community, imagine how much striving that we can see. That is exactly why I made the school community. There's already so many strong people in there right now. Some of the strongest people that I've ever met. And they're talking about the hard things, they're sharing their stories, and they're getting real support, and they're encouraging one another, and it's just an amazing thing. The community is free to join, and when people talk, real solutions can take place. And when real solutions take place, then the system starts working in favor of the patients. And when the system starts working in favor of the patients, illusions can fall away, and people can finally see the type of treatment that can work for them without all of the things and the traumas that they end up having along the way. This is an exceptional way for us to make improvements and to come together. He escaped our unit, came back to the idea of shackles because he was so imprisoned by his life. So much so to the point where he passed on his pain and trauma to another patient where they ended up being severely injured. Well, not in a way where they had broken bones or anything like that, but they were bruised up, and they were not expecting that whatsoever. So that was really messed up of him. But this goes to show you how systems that say they help people don't align themselves with the needs of individuals, even if it's their intention to. A lot of times it's not, but that's why you need good people working in these places. And outside of these places, we need spaces such as what I named with the school communities, where people can work through these issues and get supported by others that are in like-minded situations. Point blank, period. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. And as always, oh, wait a second. Y'all see the hoodie, y'all see the merch, coffee and coping skills. That's how. We got merch almost ready. The hoodies are ready. So if y'all want to cop a coffee and coping skills hoodie, y'all go ahead to the Psych Ward warehouse and pick you up a coffee and coping skills hoodie. Definitely will support the work that we got going on here. Copping the ebook will also help support what we got going on here. You know, we not full time yet. So until we can get to that point, we gotta keep it going. So I appreciate y'all support. I appreciate y'all for liking and sharing the video, dropping a comment, buying merch, getting the ebook, joining the school community. All of these things help. And as always, like for more stories.